Yes, that does say probably what you think it says. So clever, isn't it? Anyway, this is my review item for Bureau Direct for the month of February. And it's just the one item this month because this notebook is at the higher end of their price range. And I'll come to that at the end of the video. But it's so clever, it's so ingenious, and because of the cost, I've found a way to hack it so that I can use it as my bullet journal for the year. But first of all, it is called the Nuuna, that's the brand name, I Blush Under Your Touch notebook, and it's in Thermo Orange, and the paperweight is 120 grams, and it has 256 pages. But this is the clever bit. I'm going to show you now. This is just a cup of hot water. The cup's actually warm. So what this notebook cover does is it changes colour when it changes temperature. So to show you, it turns orange. It's so awesome. I love it so much. I want to show you again with that. I would show you with my hands, but I've got quite cold hands today. And it changes colour, and then on the back it does exactly the same thing. And you can make pretty patterns with it. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it so much. But it also means that when you're holding your notebook, it does change colour, which just makes people stop and stare at it and wonder if they're seeing what they think they're seeing with the wording and with the colour change and everything like that. But as you can see, and as has just been demonstrated whilst I've been yakking on, is that it just does fade back to black when it cools down and when the temperature goes back to normal. So first of all, I am completely sold on this notebook just because of the cover. But this is what I've actually done with it. I counted the page. Well, the pages, there's 256 pages, as I just said. Divided that by 12, and I hacked it as a notebook. Now, you're all thinking, yes, you know, she's freaky geeky with the stationery. I didn't think she was that mental, but there we go. So I'm going to show you exactly what I've done. The first thing is the inside cover is the glorious neon orange that the Thermo Touch cover changes to. And you probably know by now that I don't use the first couple of pages of any of my notebooks. Don't ask me why, I don't know. I just like a clean look at the beginning of a notebook. You can't see it probably, and if I zoom in I know it won't focus very well, but this is dot grid note paper, which again I adore, and the dots are in exactly the same neon orange as this, so the theme runs right the way through the book. Now what I did was, and you'll have to excuse me, I've covered up some of the words in this because they are personal or they are business related and confidential. But I have done this 12 times throughout the book for the 12 months of the year. I have drawn myself the calendar for the month, put washi tape on it, put the name of the month on it, and you can actually see that going right through the book. Yeah, I know, I've just said it before, I'm mad when it comes to stationery, but I want this to last for the year. It's an expensive book, so I want to be able to use it appropriately. And I'm using a compact Filofax at the moment, which means I'm only carrying a diary and a few pages for writing on and a few personal contacts. So this is one way that I know I'll be using this effectively, and it means I can write a lot. I'm using it as my bullet journal for the year. So the first thing I did was, this is forward plan. With bullet journals you can't forward plan very well. So the first two pages after the calendar page, the diary page if you will, I've done a little bit of a tracking system here, which I'll go into in a minute, which really helped me focus on things that I wanted to make sure I was concentrating on this year. Then I did my New Year's resolutions and I did some January reminders. And then I just used the book as a bullet journal and for note taking and some forward planning for some meetings that I'm going to. And then we get into February and it's exactly the same again. So I drew out the calendar. I've got all sorts of little bits of information in there that I need, and I then did my tracking system. So I've got my February reminders here. Obviously not a full page, but it just meant that in January I could jot things down that I needed to remember, and those will either drop into my bullet journal system or they will they went on to the calendar plan. So this tracking system here is just, as I say, things I want to make sure that I'm keeping an eye on. And I just wrote the numbers of the month down here. So that's for February, it's 1 to 28. And then across here, I've got Slimming World, so checking my attendance, checking my weight, gain or loss. Then invoices that I've sent out, book sales, which I'll actually do at the end of the month just to see when there is any fluctuation or trending in the book sales. When I'm posting on my personal blog, when I'm posting on my geek blog, when I'm uploading to YouTube, and when I'm posting on my collaboration blog. Just to see what's going on really, and just so I can reflect on what's gone on over the month. Do I need to improve on anything? Do I need to hold back from anything? And this is just a Slimming World tracker for some of the certain foods that I eat. Not important. Anyway, so there's my February reminders, and again we just go through the bullet journal as it's happening, and I've got some blanks. There's about 16 blank pages in between months, and as you can see we're halfway through February now, and it's absolutely plenty for me to be writing on. And then when we get to March, got exactly the same thing going on here. I've got my March reminders ready, starting to fill those in, and I will put my tracking system in here. And that really is it. Now this paper is really, really thick. I mean, I said it was 120 grams. It actually holds fountain pen ink very, very, very well. And as you can see, I mean, that's biro. There's no bleed through with that. I'm just trying to think where I've used some ink. This is actually ink that I'm using on these pages. And as you can see, there's no bleed through on those either. So there you go, that is the I Blush Under Your Touch notebook from Nuuna. It is, as I mentioned right at the beginning, at the higher end of the price range on the Bureau Direct website. At the time of filming, it was £26 for just the one notebook. So now you can see why I really want to use it for the year. But because it's such a fun and unusual notebook, I really do want to use it, and I want other people to see it. And I want them to ask about it and find out where I got it from, because I just think it's such a fantastic notebook. Awesome. And that was the Bureau Direct review for February. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, we'll see what's coming in March. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.